Okay, yeah, let's go straight to stock picks. Mark, what are you choosing today?
Yes, I'm choosing a very very well-run business in South Africa. It's had a very tough share price retraction over the last few months. It's Curro. So they own, well, we all know their schools that they own. It was a darling for many years. It used to trade on 50 times earnings when it was growing in 2017. Then they split the business. They spun out Stadio and they split. So that's the tertiary side, and then Curro is the education, the school side. And really, in this last set of results, the market got very worried about a slowdown in learner growth. Learner growth was basically flat year on year, and I think that the market got a little bit spooked. I think I think that the share was down over 30%, and it's really an overreaction. The business is now trading on 10 times earnings, and this is a business which is very defensive. I mean, people will give up a lot to send their children to a good school, and I think that the learnership numbers will go back to growth as the capacity in the high school gets filled. I think that the top line can grow 7%. They can keep their costs under control. They can increase margin slightly, and over time, the return on equity and the return on assets will improve, and then the re-rating will come back. So I think that this business can grow earnings in double digits. I think you're going to eventually get a 4% dividend return, and I think it should trade on about a 15 times earnings. So that gives you kind of a 20% a year return.
All right. Victor, what are you putting your confidence in today?
Yeah, since we touched on fashion a little bit early on, my name is international name, but it is locally known. Steve Madden. Steve Madden of the Wolf of Wall Street fans will remember Steve Madden as
Yep.
well. But it's a business whose share price has been pummeled as a result of the tariffs that have been introduced. Steve Madden has been as one of the companies that was heavily exposed to China for the production of its products. Uh, Pre-Trump's first tariffs in 2018, it made 94% of its products in China. After those first tariffs, it brought it down to 77, but the market was still very spooked by the introduction of tariffs early last month. And so it sent the share price down about 60% from its peak last year. And now it's still trading at half of its peak price last year. Very attractive. It's still run by its founder. It is a low-cost producer. It always finds the lowest cost manufacturing sites around the world. Its advantage over other players is it is able to move its production quickly out of China. So they plan to have their production down in China down to about 43% of the total group production by the end of this year. And if you look at the production of the product they sell in the US alone, so last year it was about 71%. By the third quarter, they would have moved that down to the mid-teens, and by the first quarter of next year, that will be down to mid-single digits. So they managed their tariff exposure pretty well. And another interesting thing is they just made an acquisition which closed this week of a brand called Kurt Geiger. It is known in South Africa.
Yeah.
Interestingly, one of the brands owned by Kurt Geiger is Carvela, which used to be a very popular brand in South Africa. But Kurt Geiger is growing very fast in the US. About 6 years ago, we had $10 million of revenue in the US. Last year was 170 million, with its digital sales in the US alone up by 6% last year. So it's a strong business. It's got a strong balance sheet, net cash, at least before the Kurt Geiger acquisition, and it's still run by the legendary founder Steve Madden, who is a bona fide shoe dog. Just like our man Full Knight at Nike. Still a living legend, running the business, very passionate. It's an incredible business on valuation. Historically, it's traded at a PE of about 19. Right now, the P is at 10, and a dividend yield is 3.5%. So I think it's a good quality business that's trading very cheap.
Yeah, I think let's not take Shoe Dog away from Full Night. Maybe let's call the Steve Madden guy, I don't know, Heel Dog or something. But thank you so thank you so much.
The cobbler. Oh, the cobbler. That's his name. The cobbler.
Okay,
He's got a book
nice.
out.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights today, guys. Really appreciate it. That is all for Stockwatch today. Thanks to our guests, Mark du Toit from Oyster Catcher Investments and Victor Seanie from Benguela Global Fund Managers. Up next, The Close. Stay watching.